What up, though? Welcome to another episode of Full Metal Analysis. Detroit, Detroit, you went out and showed out this weekend. We broke a record. 700,000 people, over 700,000 people came out to the draft. Shout out to y'all. Thanks for supporting the city. Detroit versus everybody. We showed the rest of the nation what it's like to be a fan of Detroit, man. I love y'all, man. Appreciate it. What are your thoughts on the draft, Marcus, man?
Oh man, it's just real good to see. It's great to see the city, man. I saw a tweet that was it was real dope. It was a dude. I want to say he's like a beat writer for the Lions. I want to say, and he was just talking about how he had so many people reach out to him, like, man, the city is nothing like I thought it would, like I thought it was, because everybody, my biggest thing, man, in general, especially with sports, but my biggest thing is narratives, man. I can't stand narratives when people just hear something and they just go with that narrative and just ride it, and they sometimes they believe it, sometimes they don't, but
Right.
um but the idea that Detroit is the same Detroit that it was from decades ago is just not true. And I actually didn't get a chance to actually go to any of it, but we did ride down there and just look at it, man. And I saw that stage before the draft, and then we rode down there and just all the food trucks, all the Lions jerseys. They had DPD posted up on like every corner. It was just like they was like the city was ready, man. The city was ready for it, and for the most part, you didn't hear anything negative about it. Like you said, where they breaking records, people coming in. You just love to see it.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the city, man. You know what I'm saying? They did their thing, set them the stage. Keeping there. I think every police officer in Detroit was down there, including the state police. But yeah, like you said, man, everybody got along. I heard people saying they got along with all the out of town fans, and of course, the fans down there. It was no ruckuses. Everybody was down there having a good time. Shouts out to the city for what they put together. I love the intro with Eminem, Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, Jared Goff, and St. Brown. You know what I'm saying? That intro was fire. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't know how I don't know how everybody feel, but Big Gretch came out. She put the
Mike
buffs on.
Mike Duggan had a pick yesterday. Came out with Barry,
Yeah,
made a pick.
yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? It was a great it was a great event, man. No, Detroit represented fully, man, and I feel like yeah, the world has judged us. You know what I'm saying? It's always been Detroit versus everybody, and it's getting to a point where you can't hold us down, man. You can't judge a book by its cover. But so that said, man, let's get into this draft, man. What grade do you give the Detroit Lions? The Lions drafted Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakeshaw, Giovanni Manu, uh, Sion. I want to say his name right. Sion Vaki. Uh, I forget his first name. Wingo. What's his first name? You
Ooh,
know his
so
first name.
no, that's a
Uh,
name. It's like Micaiah
yeah, yeah. I think it's Makai Wingo. I don't know. I just Wingo is just so strong that I forgot his first name. From now on, from forever, I'm just gonna call him Wingo. I'm just be like, yeah, Wingo. But and one more guard, Christian Mahogany. What are you feeling about that draft? That we did a lot of trade ups, trade downs, and from what I learned at the end of the day, all we lost from all that moving around was we lost one third round pick next year, but we have all the rest of our picks.
I think they lost the fourth round too. Like you said, they had two
But we
fourth
had two
round.
fourth rounds.
Yeah, so they lost one of those. I got you, but other than that, they still got the original picks. I got you. As far as the grade though, man, you know, it's hard for me not to give it an A. You know, usually I'm pretty tough, but it's hard for me not to give it an A because in sports, if I was a GM, and I wish a lot of more teams would do it, and I understand why teams don't do it, but Brad Holmes is just kind of different like that, man. Where a lot of teams go into the draft, and you know, obviously they got their ideas, they got their plans laid out. But have you ever seen you know, positional villain? Have you ever seen a team draft back to back, same position?
I've
With
I've never seen it.
never seen it either. Never seen it either. And the thing about that though is, if I asked you before this draft, what is the Lions' biggest weakness? You probably would have said one, secondary, and two, defensive edge, basically. Um, and that weakness is that, you know, obviously they haven't played it down yet, but you got athletes that have played that position in college, high prospect athletes with high potential. You drafted two of them in the first and second round. You got Brian Branch on the second year. You brought in Carlton Davis, a proven NFL cornerback, a Super Bowl winning cornerback at that. You know, like, it's so crazy how he just flipped up that whole defensive back room in a single off season.
Yeah, man. I love the draft, man. Excuse me. I'm a little harder on the grading system. Um, my grade for the draft is a B plus. I love all the picks. The only reason I give it a B plus is because if they had drafted a wide receiver, I would have gave them an A minus, and if they had drafted an edge, I would have gave it an A plus. You know what I'm saying? So I'm somewhere around a B plus, A minus, only because of those two positions that weren't addressed. But at the same time, I understand it because last year you went out and you got a free agent in Donovan People Jones, who is looking like it's gonna be Josh Reynolds' replacement. And last year you drafted Antoine Green. Hopefully he steps up and becomes something this year. And then as far as edge, you got Davenport. You got Davenport that we went out and got in free agency, and you got you know James Houston, and I've been hearing a lot of people saying that they might, with all the defensive tackles that they drafted, they might just go ahead and kick Josh Pascal out to DN as well. So I mean, I'm like I said, I wanted those two positions drafted, but at the same time, I understand the decision making.
As far as so I gave it an A. I wanted offensive. So coming into this draft, I wanted defensive backs, offensive linemen, and I wanted the edge. The only thing they didn't address was the edge. Like you said, it seems as though this regime believes that they got somebody in house, or they see something coming down the pipeline where they don't feel like edge is as big of a need as the fans might see it as. Um, the only thing that I would say is that the only reason I would say I would still give them an A for it is that I didn't see it. It wasn't a whole lot of edges to me in this draft. Yeah, I wanted Jonah Ellis. He ended up going to the Broncos in the second round before the Lions picked. But at the same time, I'm not sure the Lions would have took him. They may have, but he had a oh no, I'm sorry. I think he went in the third round. I'll take that back. But he went somewhere in the second or third round. I want to say third round.
Third round, I think.
Yeah. So I liked him. He had an injury history, so who knows how he'll do. Probably not well because he went to the Broncos. You know, Good luck with that. But everybody else was a D tackle. Braden Fisk, I was big on him. He ended up going to, I want to say, Pittsburgh. Or he went to, it was Pittsburgh or the Rams. Pittsburgh and the Rams cleaned up on my guys. I know Fisk, Frazier, and Jared Verse I know he went to the Rams, and
Oh
somebody.
man, I'm so hurt.
Yeah, matter of fact, Frazier and my other O lineman, Fatanu, they both went to the Steelers, and then Verse and I want to say Fisk went to the Rams. And so like I said, edges really weren't that available. So he took a position that was weak, and he saw two cornerbacks that were, I heard the report. He said that those was the top two cornerbacks on their board, and they was there. So he took them. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I'm not like you said. I mean, after Verse left, after Verse and Ellis left, the edges that were left kind of fell off of a cliff. There were a couple that had potential, but they were kind of raw. They had potential, and I still would have liked to have them, but they wouldn't have made as big an impact as um those first couple of guys. So once again, I understand the reasoning. I think I really just wanted some help for Aiden Hutchinson to, um, you know, because Aiden was getting pressure on the right on the left side of the line, and it just seems to me like the quarterback will just run away from him. If you got an edge on the other side of him, it's not so easy to run away if you got somebody pressuring both sides of it. And that was my whole philosophy behind it. But like I said, man, I'm not mad at any of the picks. I think Brad did a phenomenal job of the picks he did get. I think all the guys, like you said, that they haven't played it down yet, but I think all the guys that he did pick will have a major impact on the team. If not this year, then for the future. Um, uh, we can go ahead and get into these picks. First off, the first two.
Real, real quick. I will say, as far as wide receiver, I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to put this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Wide receiver is probably the biggest position in football right now. The way the game is going, as far as yards, passing, defense. Wide receivers are putting up record numbers. At the same time, it's so hard for me to use a high asset on a wide receiver unless they're the next Justin Jefferson or the next Tyreek Hill, just because there are so many wide receivers in the league. Obviously you can't just go out and find an Amon-Ra St. Brown, but nevertheless, they did find Amon-Ra St. Brown in the fourth round. I think Devontae Adams was a third or fourth round pick. Puka Nakua, I don't know where he came from. Nobody knows where he came from, but he wasn't a first round pick. Nobody was talking about him, and he was, rookie. He was second for rookie of the year last year. So it's just hard for me to go use a high draft pick on a wide receiver because there's a lot of good wide receivers in the league, and it's easier to find. I put it like that. It's easier to find I feel like it's easier to find a good wide receiver in the league than damn near any other position.
No, man. No, I'm gonna agree with you. That was just me wanting the little Christmas gift. I didn't. It was like something that I wanted, but I didn't really need wide receiver. I feel like wide receiver was kind of this year like how I felt running back and tight end was last season. I didn't think that we really needed a running back last year. I didn't think we really needed a tight end last year. But at the same time, we went out and we got a running back, and we went out and we got a tight end, and those turned out to be great gifts. So I think I was along the mindset of those, especially with us losing Josh Reynolds. But I'm gonna put my faith in Donovan People Jones, and I had because the only reason that I really wanted him because I had big expectations for him last year. I expected him to step up and be that guy last year, but I also know that he came in the middle of the season, and Ben Johnson is not really a guy that incorporates new people into his system at the beginning, in the middle of the season. We know that because JMO has came in the middle of the season, both for the last two seasons, and he hasn't really incorporated him into the offense. But I fully expect him to incorporate JMO and Donovan People Jones into this offense because they both this year, barring either one of them getting hurt, both of them get to start right from the beginning. So I fully expect a full scheme for both of them. So we'll just see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
As far
The one thing I
Go ahead.
will say, is um the one thing I the, only, the last thing I'll say is that last year going into the offseason, we had Jamal Williams on a will they resign him, will they not resign him, and DeAndre Swift wasn't. Everybody knew he wasn't going to be here, so you did need a running back, and then our tight end room was like tight end by committee, and it was the Zylstras and the Brock Wrights, and so I mean those was more of a need than wide receiver because now it's like if you draft a wide receiver, Jared Goff got so many, like you just said, you trying to already fit everybody in because I mean it's a lot of mouths to feed, bro. You got Jahmyr Gibbs, you got David Montgomery, you got St. Brown, Hawkinson, Laporta, and JMO. So if you throw a third mouth and you throw a third receiver in there, Josh Reynolds was perfect because he's Josh Reynolds. He don't need the ball,
Well,
but when you throw it to him, he was reliable.
well, that was just my thing, man. I really just wanted a replacement for Josh Reynolds because he was a big part of the offense last year. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted a replacement for him. That was my main thing about it, and I just thought it would be nice to have a big body receiver in the mix because we have that possession guy who's St. Brown. We have the fast guy to stretch the field, but I just wanted a guy that could go up. You could just throw the ball. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be on target. It doesn't have to be accurate. You can just throw it in his vicinity, and he goes up and get it. That's the guy I was looking for. So I just thought that would be a nice uh, compliment to the receivers that we do have. But like I said, man, it was just a extra little thing. I think our offense will be fine without it, but it was just a extra little package that could have came along with a bow on it. You know what I'm saying? A stocking stuffer that I would have loved. You know what I'm saying? In addition to what we already got.
I got you.
But but let's get into these picks, man. The first two picks were two cornerbacks. We got Terrion Arnold and we got Ennis Rakestraw. Me personally, I've been hyping up Ennis Rakestraw uh the whole draft season. You already know I've been hyping him up, and I was everybody was talking about Kool-Aid all draft season as well. Kool-Aid this, Kool-Aid that, and I was kind of like, yeah, Kool-Aid is cool. If we're gonna go that route, I'd rather have Terrion Arnold. And I mean, Brad must have heard me because he picked both of those guys. I I really wanted Nate Wiggins, but he's fast. He's faster than Terrion Arnold, but Terrion Arnold is a physical guy. He gets up in there. He makes play. He gets up in the receiver's face and he makes plays. Ennis Rakeshaw, real physical guy. Hard hitter. Makes complete tackles. So I'm feeling like there's some great picks with that one, man. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's this is the first year where the Lions. I'm so used to looking at mock drafts and going into the draft, looking at you know top 15 prospects because that's what usually where the Lions are picking at. It's not unusual that pretty much the whole field is open to the Lions. And this is the first year where they're picking at 29. So there's a lot of guys that on any given draft we would have been looking at like like your Jared Verses, your Dallas Turners, your Terrion Arnolds. These guys usually we would be looking at, but in this draft to think that those guys would be available at 29 was unlikely. But nobody saw that the first like 14, 15 players was going to be all offensive players, which was great because our offense is top 5 in the league, and we need
Right.
defensive players. So it fell as well as it could. So Brad, Brad did his thing, man. He saw the opportunity. He saw Terrion Arnold fall that high. I texted you like, hey man, I think that Brad, once we get to like 22, I think Brad might make a call, and he eventually did make that call. He went up and got Terrion Arnold. If you gave me the choice between Kool-Aid and Terrion Arnold, if I knew I had that, I wanted Kool-Aid, but if I knew Terrion Arnold was available, I'm with it. I would have took that. The thing I like about him is when you look at now Rakestraw, I gotta do some more research on like who he is as a person. But Arnold, man, everything I've seen from this guy screams lockdown corner. Not only has he played it in college, not only is that his MO from college, but when you listen to him talk, bro, like you just if you look at the greats, at the great, number one cornerbacks in the league, my personal favorite right now in the league is Jair Alexander. And just cornerbacks, man, you gotta be you gotta be different, bro. You gotta be a little bit edgy, you
Hmm.
gotta be a little bit out there. You gotta, people gotta look at you side eye like, man, he a little crazy. Jair Alexander got suspended by his team for a game because he was in his home. I think they was playing the Panthers, and he went he went out there and made himself an honorary captain. And they didn't think nothing of it. Like, and so this team suspended him for that. But dog, the dude could play ball. You look at Jalen Ramsey, man. Jalen Ramsey different. He different on the field. He just different as a person. Like he just real focused. Like you could tell like he just put so much into it, but his mind is all like he's got different he just got different aura about himself, and that's what it is to be a cornerback. I feel like in the league, and when you listen to Terrion Arnold, man, that dude is different, man. He see the world different from everybody else. You just I guess like standing on your own 2 feet and being able to take in the whole situation. So I could really appreciate that about him. Like I said, Rick Straw, I want to check him out. The only thing I seen from him is that he said that he didn't think it was what 60 other players was better than him. So he gonna remember that. So I'm excited for that. Like I said, man, Detroit's trying to build the new Legion of Boom.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna touch on a little bit what you said earlier, man. Yeah, man. These guys, I think they got great value for both of these guys. When the draft season first started, both of these guys were at the were first round guys. You know what I'm saying? Terry Arnold was predicted to be either was I think he was ranging to be like the second or the third off the board. So he was predicted to go around like in the top 10 or right around near the top 10. And Rakeshaw was being projected to go right around where we were in the late 20s and the late 20s. Yeah, right around the late 20s. I seen a couple of drops of a couple of months where he was slightly higher than that. And as the draft season went on, Terrion he was kind of he was all over the place. But he was still up there. He was still right around that range. You know what I'm saying? And then Rakeshaw kind of fell from the first round to the second round. But originally, both of these guys were first round draft picks. Um, yeah, you pretty much nailed Terrion Arnold on the head. Confident guy. First thing he said was, "Detroit, I'm home. You guys got a superstar." You know what I'm saying? He said we're gonna go win the Super Bowl. Real confident, real outspoken. He's a great fit. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about hard work and family. You know what I'm saying? He seems to give. I've heard him talking about his teammate Kool Aid. Give all props to him. Seen an interview where he said the media wanted them to be mad at each other, but they were brothers. He would never go against his brother. He wished nothing for the best for him. He said that the media tried to put him against Quinyon Mitchell. He said, you know what? I met Quinyon Mitchell today. You know what I'm saying? I uh I know the media want us to be rivals or they want us to be mad, but I wish him the best. You know what I'm saying? He gonna do what he do there. I'm gonna do what I do here. So I mean, great personality guy, great confidence guy. You know what I'm saying? He talks about family. His grandma and his granddad made him the guy that he is today. Great guy, man. Great guy. He seems to love to be in here. They showed him behind the scenes in Allen Park. He looked like he was soaking it in, loving every moment of it. And yeah, man, I'm loving everything I've seen about him. Rakeshaw, um, still confident guy, different than different than Terrion. He has the confidence, like you said. He said he don't think there's 60 guys better than him. So the confidence is there. If you watch him play on the field, you can see he plays with confidence. But I don't think he's as outspoken of a guy as Terrion is. He's more of a put your head down, go to work kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? My talk is my talk is my play. He might say a few things if he gets hyped up, but for the most part, he's just gonna go to work. When you hear him talk, it's all about his process. It's all about what I'm saying, what he needs to do. It's all about working hard. When you talk to him, that's what he is. He's like a straight to the point guy, and yeah, man, that's what you get with him. I think he fell to the second round because he needs a little bit more work, but he's gonna be a star in this league, man. He talks like the micro machine man. By the way, man, that guy talks fast as hell. But
It's cool. It's cool because I only need one number one.
well, what I'm thinking, man, and the sentiment that I'm hearing is that first off, we already know that Detroit's mentality is you fight for your position. So whoever is the best player will play. But what I'm thinking is that these guys can come up and they can be Brian Branch, man. They can come up and they can be number one, or what I'm saying, even if they're not number one, even if they don't prove to be number one, you got Carl Davis and Amik Robinson as 1 year rentals, and even if they're not even if they're not
Carl, I think Carlton gonna be around for a minute, like 2-3 years. I want to say.
how many he signed a 2 year deal. I thought he only signed the
No, they
I
traded
thought
for
he
him.
signed.
No, they traded for him, so he still had his original contract, and he still had like 3 years left on his contract.
Yeah, but are those years? I mean, if one of those guys, like say Terrion Arnold, steps up and does become the number one, would you hold on to Davis or would you trade him out?
I don't think you'll be able to trade him, but the way I see it is, regardless of who's won or who's two, it's gonna be Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold, and you just gonna let Arnold, baptized by fire, and then at some point, Davis's contract is gonna be up, and you're gonna let him walk, and Terrion Arnold gonna step up, and by that time, Ray Straw gonna be ready. I'm sure Ray Straw gonna Ray Straw gonna be playing, like you said, he gonna be like Brian Branch, like they're gonna put him in there from day one. Where they're gonna put him in, they probably move him around. He'll spell guys. Defensive back is probably like the most injured position in the league, so we're gonna have injuries. He gonna get his chance, but I think they're gonna ride Carlton Davis' contract all the way out.
Maybe we'll see. But my point was, no matter how long no matter how long they hold on to Carlton Davis or even to Meek Robinson, you got two guys that are future starters of your team, whether it be this year, next year, or the year after that. I think Terry Arnold and Rakeshaw are our future number one and number two corners. That was my point of saying that. So I think that that's why I think those picks are so valuable because we're getting into the point in a lot of players' contract where we're gonna have to make some tough decisions about who we keep, who we hold on to, and who we let go. And everybody's not gonna be we're not gonna be able to pay everybody, and everybody's not gonna make the cut. So a lot of times we're gonna have to depend on them rookie contracts.
Yeah.
Um Next we got Giovanni Manu. Giovanni Manu, man. Man, he looks like the Haitian dude on the longest yard that Adam Sandler was playing ping pong with. Man, this is a big monster of a dude, man. 6'7", 350 pounds, and it looks like it's all muscle. Um, it wasn't a whole lot of film out there on him. I did find some film on him. Uh, First off, he's so big that everybody everybody out there look like little kids. Look like he's playing pee wee teams out there. I'm sure they weren't the best of competition, but this guy was pancaking players left and right, man. Like every single down of his highlight was nothing but pancakes, dog. He was pancaking. They sent two guys at him. He blocked one guy. He blocked two guys at the same time. Everything about his film looked beautiful, and even though, like I said, his competition wasn't up to par, I loved everything I saw about it. They said his vertical is nasty. His strength is off the chains. Even Brad Holmes was saying the same thing. Even though his competition wasn't the top of the top, they loved everything. They loved the player himself, and they loved all his scouting. The Lions weren't the only people scouting him. Brad Holmes said he went and visited with 9 teams before they even got to him. So, what are your thoughts on him?
This is the only pick that this is the only pick that gave me hesitation on giving him an A. I went on and gave him an A because this pick to me is a boomer bust pick. Like you said, the one thing that gives it a boom and favors this pick is that you can't teach size. They had a lot of they really enjoyed, and I'm sure he might even be back this year, but they enjoyed Dan Skipper. Dan Skipper was a big lineman. They moved him around, fit him in wherever they could. But this guy, like you said, man, he's a big guy, 6'7", 350 pounds, powerful guy. They say he's got, in his workout, he had a great 40 time and great vertical and great bench for for his position. And I can't say because I don't know what they're gonna do with this guy. Like I said, we go back to the fact that Brad took two cornerbacks and he picked up two cornerbacks in the offseason free agency. Positional villain. Go out there and basically if the player is available and it's a guy you like, go grab him. It don't matter what you already got in house. And all that is saying is make your good great. Make your great elite. And we already have a great offensive line, but when guys get hurt, we fill in spots with these guys that the average that we don't even the average Lions fan barely knows, and they do a good job. They do a good job. It's an offensive line. Offensive line is a team of its own, so they do a great job of filling in when they called on. So you just add in depth, but I just want to know what is the long term plans for this guy? Did you draft him to be a starter in the future? Maybe Taylor Decker spot. I don't even know if I don't have you. I don't even know if they got 6-7 centers out there. Could he be a Frank Ragnow replacement, or is he just? I don't know. I would love to know what the plan, what the vision is for this guy, because the fact that you gave up a third-round pick out of next year's draft, which isn't. It's not the world, but at the same time, it's not light either. Somebody brought up that you could use that third round chip if you were to make a trade, which the Lions aren't really big on making big trades because it's a certain type of player that they're looking for. So it's not a lot of players out there that they would even be willing to trade for. But the fact that you gave up a third round pick for this guy, who none of us had never heard of, that don't mean nothing because the average person has never heard of him. But still, it's really interesting that they gave up a third round pick for this guy that nobody was really had on their. I shouldn't say that the media, the national media, didn't have on their radar.
So here's my thinking with the Giovanni Manuel pick. I feel like all draft season, all I've been hearing about when everybody says we need alignment, we need alignment, we need alignment, we need alignment, and everybody's reasoning for one alignment is so bad is because um for one they think Taylor Decker and Frank Ragnow aren't going to last the entire season. At some point during the season, both either one or both of these guys are going to be hurt. So we needed a backup for both of those guys. And for two, they were like, this is most likely both of their last season. They think that Taylor Decker and Frank Ragnow may retire after the season, so they think that this is their last season. So my philosophy, what I think is going to happen is if Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker retire, what I think they're going to do is they're going to move Panay Sewell over to left tackle to take Taylor Decker's spot, and they're going to have Giovanni take Sewell's spot. So you have your bookend tackles right there, and then we're going to get to them later, but I may as well bring them up now because I don't have a whole lot of information on them yet. But they drafted Christian Mahogany. He's a guard. I don't know a whole lot about him, but usually guards can move over the center. I don't know if he can or if he's able to move over the center, but it would seem like maybe he might be the Ragnow replacement. So then you have Panay at left guard, Giovanni at right guard, and then you have new center, and that's your new line. So that
Yeah,
is my thinking behind. Especially since they spent like you said, since they spent the third round pick on them, that makes
yeah, and it just the only thing that sounds cool. And it's just to the boomer bust factor. Does Canadian football translate to the league? Because again, that you go, his size is going to translate to the league most definitely, but just the competition he's played against and getting adjusted to the NFL. Like most of these guys is coming from college, so the guys that they've been playing against, they playing with them in the league. But this guy's, like you said, he's playing against smaller guys in Canada. What's the adjustment gonna be like for that?
Man, I'm not sure, but uh, he has a year to get adjusted to it, man. So I don't know, man. They even though he wasn't playing as good as competition in it, the Lions and 9 of the 10 saw something in him. So like we can't say that anybody is going to be a star or a bust until we actually get out there and see them play. But from what I've seen so far, which could mean everything or it could mean nothing. Um, the size, the athleticism, and what I saw on film, I think he's gonna be all right, man. I think he's gonna be
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's just interesting to take. Essentially, he's a project. Essentially he's a Ziggy Ansah. He's a project because even if Decker, I think Decker is not going to retire next year, but I think he's due for going to be due for a contract. I want to say, and I think the rumor is that they're not going to renew his contract. But if he do leave, and yeah, I agree, they'll move Sewell to left tackle, and then you still got Kobe Sorsdahl. He got a lot of reps last year. He's still in the building. We'll see what he could do, but I think my man Giovanni, I think he'll have time to get acclimated to the league, and it's gonna be on him. But like I said,
I
I'm not
think
mad.
uh,
I think it's a boomer bust pick.
I think Sorsdale is your replacement for the guard that they bought in free agency this year. I can't think of his name right now.
Jonah Jackson.
Jonah Jackson, the guy they bought in to replace Jonah Jackson.
Oh, it starts with a Z. Are you
Yeah,
talking about from the Ravens?
yeah.
Um, yeah, who knows? Yeah, who knows?
But moving on to the next pick, we got Makai Wingo. I didn't see a whole lot of film on Makai Wingo.
You skipped
Uh,
over. You skipped over the safety running back.
oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sion Vakai. Sion Vakai is safety slash running back. Everybody was saying, "Oh yeah, we got a safety. We got a safety. We got a safety." And then, but when I looked on Lions.com and when they presented him, they said running back. So I was kind of confused. Like, is he a safety or is he a running back? And then I found out that he played both. But the thing is, when Brad Holmes came to the podium, I was listening to Brad Holmes just before we got on, and Brad Holmes is saying that they looking at him more as a running back. They said they love what he can do. I'm serious. That's what he said. He said they said they love what he can do with the ball in his hands, and he's gonna be a special teams guy slash running back, passing running back. They like what he does in the passing game. Brad Holmes said that uh, everybody when I was listening to all the other stations or all the other videos, they were saying they like his safety um, play better than his running back position. But Brad Holmes said the complete opposite, man. He was like, yeah, I mean, he's a safety, but we all know he's a safety. But what we were impressed with was his running back skills, what he can do with the ball. So, I mean, as of right now, he's kind of a positionless player. I feel like if they need him as a safety, they will put him at safety if people start getting hurt. But right now, it's looking like they're gonna use him maybe as a return guy. I mean, it sounds like with the new uh with the new kickoff system, he could be a return guy. Or if they need a possession running back, he could come in for some catching possessions. I don't know if Gibbs is tired or some shit. Um, but yeah, man. Brad said they liked the way he worked out. They saw him working out as a safety. They liked the way they liked the way he looked working out as a running back, and he even lined up as a receiver. And they liked the way he looked lining up as a receiver. So that's my rundown of him. What do you think?
Um, if you give one more Brad Holmes quote like that again, I might have to move down to a B. Uh, because as you was talking, and then you hit me with the Brad Holmes said he liked him as a running back, and then my mind instantly went to the thought in my head was, wow, this guy is a running back slash safety, which off rip is a crazy tandem of positions. But as I was looking at his little highlights, I was like, wow, this guy's, he's good. Brian Branch, hard hitter, safety, da da da. And then I saw his running back highlights, and I was like, yeah, I feel like they just needed somebody to run. I mean, they just handed him and it was like, hey, just run the ball. Like, I mean, he would get the ball and he would run to a spot and he would make contact with whoever was there, and that was the play. I didn't see no home run hits. I didn't see him juking guys, stiff arming guys.
Yeah, well, they said that he wasn't even a running back like you said. They said that they were shorthanded one day, and they needed somebody to run the ball, just like you said.
That's
And
exactly
he
what it looked
volunteered. And he volunteered.
like. That's exactly what it looked like. He looked like I never did this before. And they was like, look, all you gotta do is just take the ball and run that way. All I had to do that. And he was like, don't put no sizzle on it. Don't, just take the ball. Like he looked like a, early days football player. Like, I mean, it was like, okay. But yeah, that's interesting that you said that. Hey, Brad, that's Brad's take, and I'm gonna watch it. But yeah, no, I wouldn't. Like, I felt a lot more. I felt a lot better about the pick when I thought that they were just gonna use him as a rotational safety because towards after we took Rakestraw and I started looking at the looking at the room, we was talking and we was thinking, hey, maybe they bring back Tracy Walker because yeah, you do got Iffy and you got Kirby Joseph. You got Brian Branch, but I would like to have one more safety back there. So I thought that's what they brought this guy in, was to be that fourth rotational safety for depth. But we'll see what they do with him. Yeah, you're right. Maybe they could be using him as a returner, but I mean, I gotta look at it. I don't think he has like blazing speed or anything like that. So, and the fact that you gave up fourth round from next year's draft, that's an interesting move.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, he's still there. I mean, even if they're looking at him as a running back, if he or if he or Kirby gets hurt, he's there. I mean, you can still use him at that position, even if they see him as a running back. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if they need him, he's still there to be a safety. But that's why I said he's probably more of a positionless player. You know what I'm saying? I can see him in both rooms.
Yeah, but I mean, if they got hurt, I mean, at the same time, I could just sign somebody. If this guy, what they say, if you got two quarterbacks, you don't have one. If you play two positions, do you really have one? Like,
Well, I mean, the Lions like multi-talented guys. You know what I'm saying? That's why
yeah,
they
but if
held
you
on to Will Harris.
like,
That's why they held on to Will Harris for so long. I
listen,
mean, it wasn't his
I,
skill. He was that he played multiple positions.
yeah, all in the defensive backfield. He wasn't playing running back. He wasn't wide receiver and a defensive back. He was a safety or he was a cornerback. I'm sure the Lions would love Theo Riddick. He kind of do it all. But the idea that both sides of the ball, this got Charles Woodson.
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just saying you have to look at the coaching staff that you're dealing with. I mean, Malcolm Rodriguez, linebacker and fullback.
Yeah, but not every that's Rodrigo. They use Rodrigo because they want to get more out of Rodrigo, but there's no, they say all the time, like, we want to get him on the field, but it's like,
They
Anzalone's
they u-
playing great, Derek Barnes is playing great, and we don't want to not use Rodriguez, so it's like, hey, throw him over there.
they use Rodrigo at fullback because Kabinda got hurt, and it's the same theory I'm saying right now. If one of your safeties gets hurt and you need an extra guy, boom, you got one on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, but um, how many games have other than Kyle Juszczyk, how many games have flipped based on the play of a fullback?
I don't know, man. They put Rodrigo on in some pretty crucial downs, man.
Okay, so on third down, on third down when Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery is healthy and they bring out Vakai to run the ball for that third and second, I'm gonna be texting you.
they're not gonna bring him out to run the ball for a third and second. They're gonna bring him out to throw the ball for a third and second.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He's a
This
passer running back. Remember, they like him as a passer running back.
this pick I liked a lot more before we got on here. So yeah, we going to the next
All right. The next pick is Makai Wingo. Like I was saying before, I haven't seen a lot of I didn't see a whole lot of film on Makai Wingo. What I did see was I like his speed, man. He's a fast guy. He's got not a ton of power, but a decent amount of power. He's somewhere in between a D tackle and an edge for me. That's the feeling I got for him. He's kind of light for a defensive tackle, kind of heavy for an edge. So somewhere in between, and that's the style he plays, man. He's a good pass rusher, and I like the way he pursued the run, but it's just like I wish he had a little bit more power. You know what I'm saying? So he's kind of light. And I heard someone that was doing the breakdown of him said every now and then he has power, but he can get stuck in his bull rush. He doesn't really have a second go to move, and he can get moved off his spot sometimes. But the film that I saw, I like his pursuit. I do like the power that I did see that he has, but I had to do more research to give a full opinion on the guy. But what I saw, I like, man. What I saw was a good pick.
I don't got a whole lot for him. I haven't looked at a whole lot of them. Like you said, it's a lot that you probably essentially it's some stuff that he leaves to be desired. But he's a late round draft pick. I just look at it as a depth pick. I like that he came from LSU. That's a good school for football players. And I feel like it's just a depth a pick for depth. You got Lee McNeil, obviously. You got DJ Reader now. You still got we still haven't seen anything of Broderick Martin, so I'm sure we'll see more of him this year. Levi Onwuzurike is still hanging around there. Like I said, Pascal, they don't know where to put him. So I feel like this is just a pick for depth, and I'm cool with it. The defensive line does need help because we still looking for that, perfect rotation, essentially a perfect combination of starters that really could get some pressure on the quarterback. So I'm not mad at this pick. It's cool.
And last and probably least, so we already discussed him a little bit, so I ain't really got a whole bunch to say more about Christian Mahogany, guard. Um, like I said, I think he's a future guard. You know what I'm saying? and that's pretty much all I got for him. I haven't seen any film on him, so I don't know even know what he is. Um, but overall, what I will say is I like the picks. I feel like we are pretty much a complete team. The only holes I slightly see in our team now will probably be edge, and I know you don't agree with me, but that big body receiver. Um, but as far as matter of fact, I heard something interesting. I'll leave you to this. Is my last thing. Heard something interesting on Woodward. Um, Woodward Sports. They said that with all the D linemen that we drafted and all the DBs that we drafted, we standardly run a 4-2 defense. But with all the defensive tackles and DBs, we could essentially add in a 5-2 or a dime package and start running that, and just get either all the DBs on the field or a lot of the defensive linemen on the field and switch it up a little bit. They feel like AG has a lot more to work with than he's had in the past uh, 2 years, and he doesn't have any excuses for not having one of the top defenses in the league this year.
Um, yeah, I think AG his whole time, uh, I feel like usually people are angry at AG opposed to appreciating AG. Um, Most of the time here, he hasn't had a whole lot to work with. Like you said, this will be the first year. This will be this hands down. This will be the best defense he's had since he's been here. I do think that they will be at the very least that defensive. They should have a top 10 secondary in the league. Uh, the way that they got torched to end the year last year, I don't think that'll happen. But at the same time, they still got to go against those a lot of those same guys. I think we play Dallas again. Of course, we got Justin Jefferson twice. DJ Moore. DJ Moore just killed us for no reason. Respect to DJ Moore, but the way he torched us, it just shouldn't have gone down like that. But I don't think teams would torch us like that no more. At the same time, like you said, I agree. With the biggest the biggest con about this defense is still and the team as a whole is the lack of an established player on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson. And if we had that, a lot of fans who already feel good about the team will feel like they are, a Super Bowl. Other than Kansas City, it would be Kansas City and then the Lions, in my opinion, if they had that guy opposite there. And right now they're in contention for that spot, but it's not a hands down thing because you still got the 49ers out there. For some reason, everybody's trying to revive Philly. A lot of people like they draft, but everybody loves everybody's draft after the draft happens. But right now, though, man, I honestly do feel like this is the best team in the NFC. We still got to obviously contend with the 49ers because they are the NFC champs right now. So you got to give them their respect. But, like you said, AG don't have any excuse to not have. I'll say, he should be on the top half of the league instead of the bottom half at the very least. At the very least, they should have a top half defense.
Well, we still got training camp cuts, and we still got the trade deadline to add that edge somewhere along or any positions. It's still opportunities to add to the team where we feel like we need it at the no up until the trade deadline. So maybe something will come of that. Getting out of here. Were there any teams to you that stood out in the draft as having a better draft or just stood out, outstanding draft? To me, I think Washington, Philadelphia, and Miami killed it.
Hmm. Interesting. I loved the Rams and
The Rams
Pittsburgh.
did good too. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Rams in Pittsburgh. Like I said, Pittsburgh, they definitely had trouble protecting Kenny Pickett last year. Um, Kenny Pickett was a decent quarterback, but he looked even worse with their offensive line, constantly under pressure, constantly getting hurt. So they went out and they got my two favorite prospects, offensive lineman Zach Frazier and Fontenot, Troy Fontenot. And then as for the Rams, it's no surprise that Brad Holmes comes from the Rams organization because the Rams just went out there and went best player available and grabbed Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, which was super smart because they lost Aaron Donald, and you can't replace Aaron Donald with a player. So what do? You go out there and you get two of the best D lineman prospects in the draft. So I love both of them.
Yeah, man. I don't remember all the guys that were in the Eagles, Washington, and Miami's pick. I know the Eagles went out and got man. They got a bunch of good guys, man. Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, of course. You know, me and you weren't high on Cooper DeJean. He went like what was it, third or second round? He went second round or third round?
Oh
What
man,
what
he went second. He went early in the second round, like 5, 6 picks in the second round. I want to say, but
well, either way, me and you,
like the first corner off the board though.
yeah, you and me both said that he wasn't that, and we both didn't really think that he was a first round pick. But I think that is a good second round pick for them. Um, of course, they had Quentin Mitchell. They picked up a couple of guys. Like I said, off the top of my head, I can't remember all of their picks. But man, they the rest of their picks were good too.
Yeah, I got mad respect for the Philadelphia Eagles because they just a fun team, man. Like they just go out there and they don't care about your history. They don't care what. Like if you are a good football player, they like, hey, come on, man. We like the way we like we like the way you do business.
Right,
Um,
right.
they went out and they grabbed Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Jalix Hunt, a edge, Will Shipley, a running back. They had a lot of picks. Anais Smith, a wide receiver. Jeremiah Trotter. Hold on, I gotta add Jeremiah Trotter. Oh wow, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Didn't Jeremiah Trotter play for the Eagles?
Yeah, I think so.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr., linebacker from Clemson. Trevor Keegan, a guard from Michigan. The 6'7" wide receiver from Florida State, Johnny Wilson. And then Dylan McMahon, center from North Carolina. And I think they got one more, but it's not on here.
Yeah, them. Washington had a ton of picks too, man. They got Jaden Daniels. I think they filled every position that they needed. They got Johnny Man, Johnny Newton. Ah, dang. They got a third dude that was cold too. They had about I want to say 8 or 9 picks, man. And Miami, they went out and got some DBs, some a lot of defensive guys because their defense was hurting. I think they went out and got a running back as well. But I thought about all of their picks were great, man. Matter of fact, they went out and got another one of the fastest receivers in the draft. I can't remember his name right now. I think it's Washington. But he's supposed to be like one of the fastest receivers in the draft. So I mean, they speed. You know what I'm saying? They might be the fastest team. They were already fastest team in the league. They just got faster.
Yeah, no, and that goes to my thing, man. Like if you good at something, hey, be great at it. If you're great at it, be elite at it. So I'm not mad at that. Um, they said that Miami's thing was like when it got cold, They couldn't do nothing. They couldn't obviously, which is it's not crazy. Other than the Lions, I was gonna say they struggle with the Chiefs, but everybody struggles with the Chiefs.
Yeah, and they defense was suspect too, man. Jalen Ramsey came out. He was hurt most of the season, and then when he got back, he had a disappointing appearance. So I mean, their defense was kind of on the fence. So that's why I was so impressed that they went out and they fixed the areas of their defense that they needed help in. And barring Tua messing up, man, they should be pretty good this year. But I said that last year.
Yeah, no, Miami's an interesting team, man. I like Miami. Tyreek Hill going on like a interesting tour right now. On all these podcasts and talking about he got 10 kids and he was hurt. He was hurt when the Chiefs gave away his number, and Tyreek Hill going through some stuff right now. So we see how that goes. And like you said, Tua,
I
we'll
think
see how Tua. What's that?
Tyreek Hill is a great receiver, man. He might be like the best receiver. I don't know. It's a toss up between him and Justin Jefferson. He might they like the best receivers in the league right now. But Tyreek Hill likes to be in front of the camera, man. I mean, all that could just be for show, man. I don't know. He seems like he seems like a to to me, man. I mean, he just seems like he just likes to get out in front and he likes the attention. So, but I mean, he backs it up. So I mean, I can't really say too much about it. But yeah,
Yeah,
man, I ain't got a lot.
I like that. Yeah, I like them. The only thing is Miami. We can start. Well, Miami, Washington, and who's the other team?
Eagles.
Eagles. Okay, so the Eagles, yeah, the Eagles. But Miami and Washington are kind of like Denver. Like Miami less so because Miami had a good year last year, but Washington definitely. Washington and Denver, it just seemed like they could draft. You know, they could have like 5 first-round picks, and man, like it just they just can't get out
Well,
there and win.
well, that's why I texted you the other day and was like, do they have a new coach? Because I think like Washington had good players last year, but they coaching it's like the same thing that was going on with the Lions before Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell came here. Like they had decent players, but they front office, they coached and everybody was just getting in the way of that. They had a rookie quarterback leading the way, which Jaden Daniels was still going to be a rookie quarterback, but hopefully they get some hopefully they get some better leadership up under them to point them in the right directions. And they still got some pretty good wide receivers. They just picked up some decent defensive players. So I don't expect them to no kill the league, but you know what I'm saying. The only reason I said that is because I think they made great improvement. I wasn't saying like they're gonna be one of the number one teams in the league, but from where they were, I think they put themselves in a good position to do decent, coming from where they were last year.
They had last year coming in. They had a coach who had been to a Super Bowl and lost, and a rookie quarterback. And this year, they got a coach who had been to a Super Bowl and lost, and a rookie quarterback. But to your
Yeah,
point,
but even
to
though, but
your point, to
Sam
your
Howell was
point,
my guy.
I was about to say to your point, Sam Howell is and Jaden Daniels are on 2 different levels, so maybe
Yeah,
it'll
that's
work
what I was
out.
just about to say. That's what I was just about to say. Sam Howell was my guy, but Jaden Daniels is clearly a better talent than him. So you know what I'm saying. Like I said, I don't expect him to go out and be Super Bowl champions this year, but I expect them to be better than they were last year. But
I'm with that.
other than that, man, unless you got something else, I didn't really have much more. I think we covered all our bases.
How you feel about Chicago?
So I think uh, our division got way tougher this year, man. I don't remember all the Chicago picks, but I do think they improved dramatically over last year. Uh, last year,
People scared of the new Roma Dunze, uh, Caleb Williams connection, mixed sprinkled in with DJ Moore. Oh, and I think my bad. Go ahead.
yeah, they picked up a couple of defensive players as well. Um, Green Bay is looking pretty good, and the Vikings are looking pretty good, man. I don't think that any of the teams in our conference will be at the bottom of the league this year. Uh, the Vikings and the Bears had it rough this year. I think that is a thing of the past. I think every game in our conference is going to be it's going to be a hard fought game, but I think we're still better than all of them. But last year when I guaranteed to win, this year I can't make the same guarantee. You know what I'm saying? The competition has got much more fierce. I still think we're better than all the teams, but it's gonna be a tug of war.
Yeah, I feel you.
And I heard something. I,
I'm not as worried about.
I was just gonna say.
Go ahead.
No, just real quick. I was just gonna say. And I heard something that sound interesting. It's a possibility that all four teams, at least three of the teams, make the playoffs.
I yeah, I don't know if that's even possible.
I don't know.
I guess it would. Yeah, I don't know if that's even possible because you would have to have one conference
Well,
winner, and then it would be what 2 or 3. All the wild cards come from our conference, but then at the same time we playing each other, so it's hard to have the best record.
all four. I don't know if three could make it, but I would
Three
have to.
probably
I would have to look into.
could. Yeah, 3 probably could make it, but that would be hard to do too. But yeah, I'm not really. I think Chicago and Minnesota still got a long way to go. Justin Jefferson still hasn't renewed his contract, so people think that JJ gonna come in here and it's gonna be JJ to JJ, and Justin Jefferson gonna fall in love and resign, and it's all gonna be roses and sunshine. But I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I think this is gonna be Justin Jefferson's last year with Minnesota. Um, I think it's gonna take time for Caleb, to get acclimated. But the Packers is for real, man. So yeah, I do worry about the Packers.
Yeah, I do agree with you, man. The Vikings and the Bears do have rookie quarterbacks, but CJ Stroud. So you never know what could come of what everybody can do. Not saying that either one of them, especially JJ, are going to be CJ Stroud, but you know what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying. Every rookie in the league is a mystery until they play at least two games. So let's see what
One
happens.
thing, one thing I will say to that is that even though I didn't like CJ Stroud coming in, I I imagine I wouldn't have argued the fact that he was a bona fide pocket passer. He stood back there and he hit his target in stride. And if the play called for it, if it broke down, if he needed, he wasn't even a runner. He was more just just buy him a little time, a step here, a step there, and then he would make his pass. Whereas JJ is more of a, I don't want to call him a check down, but he just kind of strikes me as a first read option. But JJ and Caleb are more likely to try to make something happen with their feet. And it takes time. I feel like it takes time, or you get hurt. Either you get hurt or it takes time for you to find the combination because when Lamar Jackson, when Jalen Hurts came to the league, they didn't hit the ground. I mean, they was good from the jump, but they wasn't playoff contenders. It took them a couple years to get acclimated, and then they understood when to use their speed and when to stay in that pocket.
Yeah, man. Since we talking about JJ and Caleb, man, I never was really a Caleb guy. I saw the potential when he first started. And then I hadn't really watched him. I kept hearing about him. So he never really struck me as I mean, everybody's saying he's the number one pick, but I never really seen anything that impressed me. And JJ, man, JJ was a guy when I'm of course I'm a Michigan fan, so I always wanted JJ to be something, man. And I was always amped that Michigan finally had a good quarterback, man. And I was amped to wait and see make JJ impress me. And that moment just never really came along. I mean, he was okay, but he never really did anything that impressed me, man. I never was like, wow, this is what I've been waiting for. It was just kind of like, eh, you know what I'm saying? Every now and then he made a good play, and then he will make a good play and then it will fizzle out. I mean, he had flashes, but my point is, one is a Bear, one is a Viking. So fuck them both. I'm out on both of them.
Last thing I'll say is JJ remind me of Brock Purdy, and Caleb Williams kind of remind me of Kyler Murray, just taller. So I mean, those are both good quarterbacks, but I think that's the potential that they could see. So I don't think they're gonna hit the league playing like them. So even if you put Kyler Murray and Brock Purdy on, Minnesota and Chicago respectively, I still wouldn't fear him like that, So it is what it is. Actually, if you put Kyler Murray on the Bears, that would be interesting.
I think so. If you protect him and give him a receiver, which he hasn't had it besides D Hop in Arizona.
Yeah, so if Kyler Murray had DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, yeah, that would be scary. And yeah, that would be scary. But yeah, that's all I got, man.
All right, man. Well, give us your draft. Hey, give us your draft pick grades, man. Like, subscribe, leave your comments. Let us know how you feeling about the draft, and when we see it, man, we'll respond, man. But until then, peace.
Detroit basketball. Detroit.